Hello, everybody. Welcome to No Stipulations. I'm your host, Logan, with my co-host, Brendan, and we're both technically co-hosts. And we're here to talk about our favorite thing, one of them, wrestling.
Yes, wrestling with beautiful, crisp audio. It seems like during the 8th episode, we finally got our stuff together.
Yeah, 2 months into this, Brendan and I finally researched what the hell's wrong with our audio. Well, I thought I got it last week, but I ended up having it completely wrong. But now, hopefully, this doesn't suck.
Yes, me and Logan, we've both been very preoccupied with our time, but we still want to make sure that we get this content out to you weekly, whether it be recorded on Wednesday or Thursday, as we're doing right now, and uploaded on Friday morning. We want to bring you weekly wrestling content.
So all 10 of our subscribers. So thank you to each and every one of you who chose to click the button, maybe click the bell icon, and sticking around with us even through 8 months of this nonsense.
And
8 weeks.
And
8 weeks
thank
of
you
this
for those
nonsense.
10 people that have consistently watched those videos.
Yes, absolutely. You're invaluable, and we will remember you. Whoops. I don't know if that came through, but my alarm just went off.
I it just sounded like you got scared.
I did get scared. My alarm is the military like wake up sound. It's
Oh, that cannot wake me up in the morning. I'm sorry.
oh, it wakes me up, that's for sure. But anyway, let's get into this thing. Brandon, take us away.
Yes, we start off the show in Bologna, Italy. It seems like everybody and their mom has an Italian flag here in
I
attendance
wonder
tonight.
why.
Couldn't
I
be
wonder
where.
why.
Couldn't possibly be because they're in Italy.
Who would have thought?
Yes, but we start off the show with a Randy Orton promo. Randy didn't get a word out before KO interrupts him, and KO has something very important to tell Randy, and that's that he was wrong.
Hmm.
KO, however,
Kevin Owens
yeah,
saying he's wrong?
that
What
that's that's unheard of.
what alternate universe is this?
It's apparently the one we live in because KO, however, clarifies that Cody and Sammy deserved what they had coming, but Randy didn't. Anger led me
Nor
to
did
do
nor
something.
did
What's that?
Kofi apparently. Remember I think he was doing this. I don't remember if it was with Randy, but it was before he like hit the pile driver on Randy. He was like, Kofi didn't really deserve that.
Oh
I
yeah,
wonder if
I
he's. I
remember
wonder if
that.
he's I wonder if he's since rescinded that statement.
Oh, definitely.
So now Randy's the only one who didn't deserve what Kevin did to him.
Yes, but KO says anger led me to do something that I regret. KO was trying to save Randy from himself last week and becoming bald 2009 Randy Orton.
Yeah, when I he didn't say that exactly, but when he said this next thing of wanting to be tag champions with Orton at WrestleMania, I busted up laughing because what the hell are you talking about? What the
I,
hell are you saying?
it was hilarious because obviously he's like, let me extend out this olive branch to him and see if he bites. But no, Randy doesn't
Nope.
mess with that at all.
No, he did not take KO's apology well. And baby, he said when you dropped me on my head, they came back and they started singing his own theme song. That was funny. This segment for everything it covers was really funny.
It was, especially the way that Randy talks on the mic now.
Right. Yeah. It's these are two guys who I feel like you could put them with anyone and they'd have a good program, but you put them with each other and you're going to get funny, serious, and extremely good wrestling.
Kind of think like KO versus Jericho.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Jericho 10 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Not Look, we love Chris Jericho on this show, and we're not going to tell him what to do with his life, but my man, you're 50. What are you doing?
I saw he got
Let
flipped
it
off by a child this week.
He did. He did get flipped off by a child. I'd retire after I got flipped off by a child. What are you doing to me? Is he still champion in AEW?
It's ROH, I believe he's champion.
Well, ROH is like their NXT, I think.
Yeah, and he's, I believe, their world champion.
Oh God. He's he's still ROH world champion. How long? This is his second reign. And when did he win that title? We don't cover AEW on the show, so I'm unprepared. When did Jericho win the ROH? What the hell? When did Jericho win the ROH world title? October 23rd, 2024.
Hmm.
So Jericho has held this title for about 6 months. Yeesh.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Speaking of yeesh, this next match, first match of the night, we had Damian Priest and Jimmy Uso versus Shinsuke Nakamura and Drew McIntyre. Your classic good guys who don't like each other versus bad guys who don't like anybody. During Drew's entrance, Damian ran up the ramp, met him halfway, started a brawl outside, and Jimmy, in classic older brother fashion, dove over the top rope and nailed everybody outside the ring. That was so funny to see because I swear he almost looked into the camera, sticking his tongue, and he's like, "Hey, little brother, see this?
I was gonna say he did a lot better than his younger brother.
Look, we're not gonna shit on Jay too much. We're not gonna. Oh my god."
I mean, you just mess up every now and then you move on. But it's fun to poke fun at it on occasion, but not to be like, "Oh, you're so bad, you're so terrible."
Right. I mean, these guys are in the company for a reason. Besides Logan Paul, we'll shit on him every day of the week. We dunk on terrible people on this show.
For
We
real.
don't care about their wrestling quality. But yeah, eventually everybody got back in the ring. Damien and Jimmy won the match with a South of Heaven. And after that, Drew, of course, attacked Damien from behind. He says, "It's on site every time I see you." But Damien says, "I'll kill you."
You know, a lot of
So it,
people are like upset that Drew is doing this match at Mania, but I think that this is something good for him to do while they think of good creative for him for the rest of the year.
right. And I don't disagree with you. I just think, like myself, a lot of people are disappointed after everything he did that he's not immediately being thrust into a world title picture again.
Yeah,
I still think I still roll with my phrasing of he should win King of the Ring and take the title off Cody at SummerSlam, and then Cena can take the title off Drew. But that's just me.
it might go the opposite way.
I don't care
Maybe
as long as Drew McIntyre gets a title reign in front of a crowd. I couldn't care less how he does it.
exactly same here. We move on to the next segment, and we have Braun Strowman backstage with LA Knight. LA has a lookout on the match between Jacob and Braun, and he hopes Strowman knocks him back to factory settings.
The factory settings is crazy.
Braun
Because isn't
says,
that
"Oh,
that's he
you were
stole
saying?"
LA Knight's yeah, LA Knight, he's been saying that. He's been saying that a few times already. And let's not he's already got yeah as a catchphrase. Let's not do this again.
Exactly. Braun says the winner of the match will get a shot at LA's US title.
I believe that'll be this coming Friday, which would be in when this episode goes up today, later today. But when where is it? Where is SmackDown? That wasn't what I asked. SmackDown next week. That's for May. Hello, tell me something, guys. Tell me. Tell me, tell me, tell me. I don't care about Vegas. Come on. This is Brussels. Nope, this is only goes far. Whatever, doesn't matter. It's in Europe somewhere. No, you know what? Is it in London or is that Raw? Brendan.
Oh, sorry, I had to mute my mic for a second. A lot's happening in the background.
Where is London Raw?
London is, I believe it's both Raw and SmackDown.
Is it?
It is.
Uh, this would be March
Because they want to run London 2 nights in a row.
28th.
It's both
Yeah,
from the
London.
O2 Arena in London.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, there we go. So the next episode of SmackDown will be in London, which means it's going to be airing early. Damn those Brits.
An
But
hour
I
earlier
believe,
than this week. It's at 2 now.
oh, gross. But after that, we find out we get one of those interviews where Tiffany and Charlotte, kind of like Riddle and Rollins did. Uh, this whole interview felt like Charlotte hoganing up the room
It
of,
absolutely did.
and whether that was the point or not, it just didn't feel good because she cut Tiffany off. She said the Queen speaks first, and from there on, it just felt like she was talking over her the whole time. And maybe that's the point. Maybe she's supposed to be talking over her, but wherein they're protecting Cody by not having him go blow for blow with Cena, throwing Tiffany to the wolves just feels wrong.
If this is like a trial by fire thing, then
She got burned, man.
yeah. And honestly, this is a very bad look to do it, leading up to WrestleMania.
Right. It just doesn't seem the smartest move to put your women's champion and say, "Here, go toe to toe with Charlotte Flair." Good luck.
And I saw a lot of people saying like it looked like Tiffany was still reading the script, but Charlotte
Probably.
went off.
That's probably what she knows to do. She knows to trust the promo script. But then there was Charlotte. That's why I say hoganing up the joint, because it felt like she just didn't care what the promo said. She just wanted to talk crap. But I don't know. I wasn't there.
Yeah, we can only assume.
That's our disclaimer for the day. We don't know what's happening. We guess, we
Yeah.
assume.
Whatever happens
But
from the segment, don't
yeah.
take Dave Meltzer's word about it.
Right. Don't take Dave Meltzer's. I think we're more reliable than Dave Meltzer.
Yeah.
But but yeah, Brendan, you put down here the poker chip match card graphic kicks ass, and I agree with you. It
It
does.
I think it's a lot better than the playing card graphics that they did.
Yeah. I thought the playing card graphics were nice, but I feel like they were definitely placeholders the whole time.
Yeah,
Just
for
to
sure.
just to wait till you actually got to the poker chips. And I think what do we have now after SmackDown and Raw? We have four, five Mania matches.
I think we got a
We
lot
got
more
we
than
got
that.
the well.
It's not worth counting right now, but there's a lot.
I know we have the four title shots from the Rumble and the Chamber, and then we have the triple threat.
And then we also have Jade v Jade v
Well,
Naomi.
that hasn't been confirmed for Mania.
Okay, but
That's what I mean. Like things that we actually got the graphics for, confirmed that they're going to be on the card. I think Jade and Bianca or Jade and Naomi absolutely should be on the card, but that's not my choice. I can
anything
only
that
bitch and
they're
moan into the
showing to
void.
us on TV might as well be on Mania, with the exception of some of the Raw tag team stuff.
Well, they held Liv Morgan off Mania last year,
I think they
and
might.
Bobby Lashley 2 years ago.
I think what they might do is they do a tag team match between Lyra and Bailey versus the tag team champions.
Oh, really?
I feel like it might lead into a Bailey heel turn to where, like, she's won every title except the one that Lyra's holding right now.
Yeah, but that just seems so lame.
I don't know. Can you think of anything better for Bailey right now?
No, but that's not the point. I don't get paid to think about that stuff, Brendan.
I don't know. It feels like babyface Bailey has seemingly, I don't want to say worn out its welcome, but it turning
The
heel
whole
might be
role
what she needs right now.
the whole role model thing has grown
Not to
exhausting.
mention that, but can we retire that effing music that she has?
Let's just shoot Def Rebel. Why not that? Shoot them in out of a cannon into the sun. Or better yet, into the endless void of space. Anyway, What's
Anyway,
next?
next we have Jacob Fatu versus Braun Strowman. Of course, we were told earlier in the night that the winner of this match gets a U.S. title shot, and Solo Tamatanga cost Jacob the match by having Braun win via DQ, and Jacob is understandably very pissed, and he's backstage throwing shit everywhere.
Yeah, as he should be. He stared down Solo, and I was just whispering to myself. I was like, "I hate you, Solo. Say it."
Solo, I hate you.
I was literally like trying to be like the devil on his shoulder, like, "Say it, do it."
Frost should have appeared at that point.
That would have been great. That
Hey, Jacob.
would have been great. I do wonder what they're gonna do with Cross. Wait, so with Cross's hair thing, would he have shown up with dreadlocks?
Oh, absolutely.
That would have been great to see. It really would have been. But after that, we get a backstage segment. Liv and Raquel backstage, but they're talking about Liv's match with Jade, and she says it's personal to her because Jade didn't clear their names while she was out when she had all the time in the world to recover. And she's not wrong. She's not wrong in that.
Yeah, she's not wrong at all. Like, Jade was radio silence while she was out with injury.
Right. Well, not radio silence. She was posting photos on Instagram, which is kind of the whole point of this. What Liv was saying, she was like, "You could post on Instagram, but you couldn't tell them I didn't kick your ass." Yeah.
Oh,
So,
but next we have the previously advertised match between Piper Niven and Zelina Vega, and the match would end after a crossbody from Piper gives the head of Secret Service the win after the numbers game just became too much for Zelina.
the numbers game. It's I don't know what we're doing with Zelina. Give her all this push. I don't want Chelsea to lose the title. I'm not saying that. But also, like, what are we doing here? What's happening?
Yeah, I don't know either.
I love the Secret Hervis gimmick. I don't want it to go away. I don't want Chelsea to lose the title. But also, at some point, you need to, like, make something happen. Especially for someone as talented as Zelina Vega, who, by the way, I don't know if it was because the overseas crowds are racist, but she got no pop, and I was depressed about that.
I was sad too. I was like, are they seriously not cheering her right now? I know it's been a while, but like, come on.
It was some absolute BS. That's what it was. But after that, Jade has a backstage interview, basically says, "Yeah, Liv's in my business, blah, 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 this, that, these, and those." Then she goes out for her match after commercial. During the match, you know, Liv's chicken shit heel thing. She was running away from Jade, but Jade actually caught her, threw her back into the ring, and was whooping her ass for a solid portion of this match. But as is the case with these heel things, Naomi appears on the ring apron and knocks Jade out while the ref is distracted. Liv hits Oblivion, and Jade takes her first singles loss as a result.
Pretty big moment too.
Yeah, it was. It was a very big moment. It's a very interesting thing. Oh,
Yes.
I'm looking at my fantasy basketball lineup. Jokic was listed as out earlier, but now he's upgraded to probable. So I don't know where the hell that came from.
I have essentially just thrown it in the towel. I set my lineup Monday, and if people are cleared or get hurt, I don't edit my lineup. Jason Tatum got
That's
hurt.
that's sad.
I mean,
Yeah, I'm
I'm
in
like
the
7-10. I'm not making playoffs.
right. I'm in the playoffs. We're in the playoffs now. I'm in the semifinals. I got to beat one of our coworkers,
Yes, win the
but
whole thing.
I'm trying to. But if I lose to you know who again, I'm gonna jump off a cliff.
Metaphorical cliff.
No, a literal cliff.
They got cliffs in Louisiana.
I'm gonna find one. Anything's tall enough if you jump off it.
Hmm.
Don't take your lives, kids. Don't seriously. Don't. We're joking, and it's not funny, even though we think it is. Don't do that.
Yeah,
It's not good.
don't off yourself. You can't say the word on YouTube.
Don't care. Sometimes you got to say the word to make it have power.
True.
Anyway,
Next, we have Drew McIntyre, who is backstage. He's being interviewed. Drew explains that throughout the entire year, Damian Priest was there to pick the bones from his misfortunes, whether it be at Money in the Bank, Clash at the Castle, WrestleMania. You get the point. But Drew
yeah.
runs into Seth as he's leaving the building, and he's wearing all blue, which we will see later.
Seth has the most trust in the world in his stylist because his stylists put him in some goofy looking outfits. But
It's
it always it works somehow.
That's what I was gonna say. It works somehow.
Either way, next segment we had were the Street Profits celebrating their tag team titles. Their new theme is so garbage. What are we doing? Who's letting Def Rebel into the damn editing booth again? We want the smoke. What is that?
It's the Def Rebel tagline BS. They're even doing it in NXT. Ricky Saints has the same
Yeah, but
thing.
I think that one works.
The theme is good. If you take out the stupid ass intro at the beginning, it's great.
I still I agree with you, but I do think the stupid intro thing kind of works with his character. But whatever.
Maybe, but I mean, we judge like songs on like our playlist whether we skip them or not from the first second. Am I not wrong?
You're wrong for me.
Whether you skip a
Uh,
song, it's usually about the start of the song itself.
yeah.
Could you
Well,
imagine a
either
Def
way.
Rebel playlist is just WWE wrestlers just like saying like a stupid catchphrase through every single one?
I'd have to listen to Burn
You
It Down
don't
on
want
repeat.
none. Role model. DIY.
Whee!
It's so it's terrible.
Oh, all rise. Can't forget that one. It's Tiffy time. That
But
one works.
they could
That one
change Rey
works.
Mysterio's theme and like it'd probably be like Booyaka at the start of the song.
I don't think Rey Mysterio would let them touch his theme.
Please, Ray, do not change your theme. And if you're gonna change your theme, change it back to the old '05 theme. That theme slapped.
Rey Mysterio!
Who's that jumping out the sky? R.E.Y. Mysterio.
I don't think his knees have it in him to do the jumping entrance anymore.
No, they don't have to do that. I just want the song.
Yeah, but what's the song without the jump?
That's true.
Oh man, but yeah, during the celebration, Legado del Fantasma comes out and they ruin the celebration. Pretty Deadly walks out and tells Santos and crew that, hey, we're the number one contenders. What the hell are you guys doing? And Street Profits say, if you want us, you can have us. And the Pretty Deadly's like, all right, go for it. And we're getting that match in London also.
You
But
loved it.
did you see the discourse on Twitter in the IWC about Montez Ford landing on his feet saying, "Oh, he's copying Will Ospreay."
I did not see that.
I did. Look, everything's been done before. You could nitpick every second of a wrestling match and find something that's been done before. Jesus, let it look. It looks cool. Who cares who's done it before? It's not like he did it yesterday and they were like, okay, let's flip. No, it looked cool.
Basic tribalism at its worst.
Street Profits got the win and retain. And then backstage, I know we do things a certain way, Brendan, but this just segues. Actually, yeah, you can take it.
Oh yeah, backstage we see Pretty Deadly DIY and the Motor City Machine Guns, where DIY is essentially trying to uh, gaslight them into giving them a title opportunity. And Pretty Deadly, they stand on business, they stand up for themselves. And then
No boy.
DIY also runs into the Motor City Machine Guns, and they get into a verbal altercation, and Pretty Deadly leaves, and that's when we go into the next segment.
And like I bet you, in the main event, we got this segment.
You were
Didn't I?
correct. You were
I
correct.
told you. I told you I was right.
I thought they were
But
going to pop a rating or something, but I was wrong.
yeah, right. You are underestimating the Samoan necessity of having the main event. And I'm going to talk about that in a second here. But first, Roman makes his way to the ring, gets in there, and this first part makes no sense. At the Rumble, Punk tried to screw me, so I screwed him. What do you mean he tried to screw you? He followed the rules. He followed the rules of the match. He dumped you out so he could win. Not everybody works for you.
Delusional Roman.
Who's more delusional, Roman's character or his fans?
Oh, his fans for sure.
This next line I thought was pretty hard. At the Royal Rumble, Seth Rollins tried to kill me. So at Madison Square Garden, I tried to kill him. And yeah, he did. He did try to kill him. He stomped him on the ground. And crazy how Seth comes back 5 days later and Roman's out for a whole month. But Roman says, if anyone wants to confront their tribal chief, please let me know. And then, of course, burn it down. Seth Rollins peacock struts his way to the ring. He says, hey, you sure let me finish off Punk. This is a problem bigger than us. And of course, the static hits. Punk comes out and then he gets on the turnbuckles and he says, Big Chief, or no, it was
Yeah, he
Big
says
Chief.
Big Chief.
Yeah, Big Chief, Grimace. I thought at first I thought he was talking about Paul Heyman when he said Grimace, and then I see the cut to Seth Rollins, and I'm like, oh my god, that's so much worse.
Oh.
It was so funny. But he says, yeah, neither of you guys have beaten him without the other's help. He says, and Roman, you owe me for you wouldn't even be here if I didn't save your family's ass at War Games. And then he looks at Paul, says, and you still owe me a favor. But first, thanks for serving up the tribal chief to me right here. Roman turns around like, hey, what the hell did you do? Before Punk nails Rollins and Roman in the back of the head. Seth comes after Punk. Roman goes after both guys. Yada da, little d. Punk goes out on the table, points at the sign and says, you want me? I'm the best in the world. And he points at the WrestleMania sign. Everyone takes each other out. And then Seth points at the Mania sign after taking Punk out. Then Roman grabs the stairs, knocks both guys out, stands up, points at the WrestleMania sign, and later it was confirmed that we are getting this match: Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, CM Punk, triple threat, WrestleMania.
This match is going to be so good. I look
It
forward to it.
it is, however, it should not be the main event of either night.
I don't think it should either, but in storyline, it might.
It shouldn't.
I don't know. It depends
Because
what that
because
favor
I don't
comes down to.
here's the thing. I don't want Punk's first Mania main event to be a non-title match.
That's what I've been thinking. But at the same time, what else could this favor be about?
Getting into the world title picture. Like
Maybe the winner
getting
of the match gets a title picture?
here's okay. Here's what I'm gonna. I don't remember. I remember somebody told me this. I think it was my friend Andrew. Can't remember for sure. You might have told me this for all I know, but I don't think you did. So basically, they signed the contract. I think they're signing it either to Friday at SmackDown or Monday on Raw. But they signed the contract. Punk's favor to Paul Heyman is that Paul amends the contract to where it says the winner gets inserted into the night 2 main event of John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. And we don't find that out until the main event of night 2, John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. We hear Paul Heyman come out. Ladies and gentlemen, there has been a change. And then we hear the static hit. And CM Punk is in his first WrestleMania main event.
I mean, I don't hate it. I think you could do more with it. I think
The favor's going to come down to the title eventually.
yeah,
Either way, I think the women should main event.
agree.
Io, Bianca, and Rhea. even though they might take the title off Io Monday. I'm gonna cry if they do, because she should definitely have the title.
And
But
I hate
Bianca, we're gonna get into that in a second.
and
What were
another
you?
thing I
What'd you
want to
hate?
mention is I hate the way they word the beginning of the Royal Rumble match. And the winner will main event
Right,
WrestleMania. I hate that.
because that never happens anymore.
It doesn't, but they still
They
say
said
it.
the same. They say the same thing for the Chamber.
I believe it would be mathematically impossible if the
Uh,
Chamber and the Rumble winners did it, because there's only two main events.
Unless they do what they did for Mania. What was it? 3, where they had it in 3 different locations all at once.
Oh, that was two. That was New York, Los Angeles, and Chicago.
Yeah, that was stupid.
It was so dumb. The early
But
parts of
yeah,
those WrestleManias, it was just throwing shit at the wall, seeing what stuck.
right. And it eventually did stick, thankfully. But either way, take us to Yale, Scotland, Brendan.
We are in Glasgow, Scotland for Raw, and Finn we see arguing outside the arena with maybe Dominic Mysterio as Punk is walking into the arena, and John Cena starts off the show.
Yeah, he does start off the show. He looks a child dead in the eye in the beginning of the entrance ramp. And he eventually gets in there and he says, "Is something on your mind?" Because the child, I don't remember if the crowd was chanting "Fuck you, Cena" or if they were just booing him. But he says, "Is something on your mind? It seems like there's something you want to say to me." He's kind of leaning into the dickishness. He says, "You are here to do your worst." And he talks about that kid from last week, about how he put that kid on blast, and the fans loved it like the ruthless bastards they are. And then he says about the spinner belt. And when he debuted it, everyone hated that he turned the title into a toy. A toy that at WrestleMania he is going to take away from the WWE faithful because he is going to win the title. He is going to retire with the title, and he is going to be the last true champion of WWE because he's going to walk out when he wins number 17. After that, Cody's music hits the wrestling has more than one royal family. And they didn't do Def Rebel didn't do that, but it feels kind of Def Rebel ish, except for the fact that Cody has never said that, to my knowledge.
Yeah, I don't think he said it.
But either way, he says, "Hey, John, you got to take the thing away from me first." And he says, "I made the mistake last week of not seeing how sincere you were and how this is the most dangerous version of Cena yet. But John, you just made an even bigger mistake. And that is saying what you just said while I am in the building tonight." Cody tells John, "Take the title from me right now." And he lays the belt on the ground for Cena, but John leaves the ring. And this is what I'm talking about when I said about Tiffany getting burned, is why are we not doing this with Cody? If we're going to protect Cody, why can't we protect Tiffany? Or if we're going to throw are we going to throw Tiffany to the wolves? Let's throw Cody to the wolves. I don't even think it'd be throwing Cody to the wolves. I think he's a very good promo cutter.
I think they have to do it on Raw in London. I think they're going to do it once, and it's going to be on this show.
They need to do it more than once because we're what, like 20 something days away?
I mean, but whenever Cena lights someone up, he goes into them, and I think honestly one would be just enough to, you know, scald Cody a little bit. You don't need to absolutely bury him before Mania.
I don't think he's gonna bury him. I think Cody's gonna fight back. But whatever. Anyway, Cena left the ring, and then we went to commercial. Everyone complained on Twitter about everything because that's the IWC.
And it wouldn't be the last complaining that you see for tonight.
Yeah,
We'll get into that later.
mm. We're
Jay,
kind of getting to that now.
I mean, I guess you're right because we are talking about Jay Uso and a mystery partner versus A Town Down Under.
Yeah, quote unquote mystery partner. Everyone and their mother got this guest.
Yeah, everybody thought it was going to be Joe Hendry because it was in Glasgow, but sorry, it's Jimmy Uso because we can see him following Jay down to the ring.
Yeet.
Yes, the Usos would get the win, and like clockwork, Gunther attacks after the match. First attacking Jimmy. Jay and
I'm
Gunther would.
sorry to cut you off, but the spear Jay hit before the 1D might have been his best spear yet. It was crisp. He
I
hit it
will.
on Austin Theory, and then they hit the 1D.
I will have to take your word on that.
But then right after that, he goes into the corner and he slips. I was texting my friend Andrew. I was like, you can't write this. He has one of his best spears ever, and then eats shit going to hit another one on Gunther.
I sure hope that was intentional and not
I
accidental.
I do too, because my God, that was just sad. Oh my goodness. What happened in the rest of this? I forget.
Um, During the rest of the skirmish, Jay and Gunther would go at it. You talked about the tripping of the spear. Jimmy rolls into the ring with a steel chair, and that is Gunther's signal to leave, and we move on to the next segment.
Which is the Judgment Day backstage. And we see Raquel Rodriguez getting ready for her women's intercontinental title match tonight. What happened to the game I love?
Mm-mm-mm.
Oh, this is not an insult. Some people are better tag wrestlers. I think Liv's a great singles wrestler, but Raquel, for as talented and convincing as she is, just I don't want to say she still needs work because of course I couldn't do half of the shit she does, but it's just clunky, I guess.
Yeah,
Is that
I liked her in 2020, 2020, what was it, 23 or 24, right before she went out due to injury.
I don't know. I just started watching last year.
It was before January 24,
Then I wouldn't have seen it.
but since she's come back, she hasn't really hit the same.
It's it's not even that she hasn't hit the same. It's just I don't know. I don't know what it is. And I'm gonna stop speculating about it because it seems rude, and I don't want to be rude. Because she's talented and she's in WWE for a reason. But Liv was looking on. She comes out of frame to join the fun. Excuse me, Dom and Carlito come out of the frame into frame to join the fun. Liv says, "How'd it go with Finn after Finn's failed match last week?" And Liv says, "I love Finn, but he is always blaming someone else for his own problems." And Dom's upset that things aren't going the way he wanted, but Liv cheers him up because last week she beat Jade Cargill, and tonight Raquel beats Lyra for the Intercontinental title. And did you see the Mona Livsa or whatever they called it?
I did. They referenced it on this
Yeah,
episode, right?
yeah. I don't remember if they referenced it on this episode, but they definitely referenced it on SmackDown in Bologna.
It was great.
Yeah, it was, and she's obviously gorgeous, so it definitely fit. But she says, "Hey," she talks to Dominic and she says, "Hey, just because Finn couldn't get the IC title doesn't mean that we can't bring the women's IC title." I think they were talking about the actual IC title because Carlito says, "You're right, Liv. It's time I challenge for the IC title."
No, they were talking about the women's IC title, and Carlito completely ignored the point and
Well,
was
no, it's also that she was talking about Penta.
that could be a double meaning, but I think they were talking about the women's IC title in general.
I don't know. Either way, I busted up laughing at Carlito. It's like, "You're right, Liv. It's time I challenge for the IC title." What a great gig that is. Take bumps sometimes, be funny.
I am now going to have Carlito as my world champion in universe mode on 2K25.
You mean women's champion?
That's true, women's IC title.
Women's IC champion Carlito.
You can have mixed gender
Uh,
matches, so it makes
I don't
sense.
I don't know if you can put the women's title on a man though.
I don't know.
They should put the Divas title on Ludwig Kaiser.
They did it with Harvey Whippleman back in the 80s.
Who?
Oh man, you need to freshen up on WWE history.
You mean
There's been
WWF?
there's been at least I think 3 dudes that have held the women's championship.
Of course there have been.
I think it's Pat Patterson,
Oh
uh,
God.
Harvey Whippleman, and what's the other dude's name? I'll think of it later. Whenever we're recording, I'll just cut you off and say his name.
Mhm. Okay. Uh, after that, Liv says to Dom, she says, "You want to talk to Penta before your match?" But Dom says, "Finn doesn't want Penta in the Judgment Day." She says, Finn didn't want me in the Judgment Day. Trust your instincts." She's planting the seeds for Dominic to go out on his own. And I, for one, cannot wait.
Jack Briscoe.
Really?
Yes,
Gross.
I believe it's those 3.
Gross. That's grody. But yeah. After that, we get a very poor tasted vignette. But before that, Brendan,
Oh, I thought
what
you were
happened?
continuing. Sorry.
No, talk, friend.
Oh, we see Bailey with Lyra backstage before the match. Also backstage is Adam Pearce with the LWO, and it seems he's bringing them into a room before commercial break starts. Coming
Yeah.
back from commercial break, we see a vignette from the newest WWE superstar, El Grande Americano. We get his backstory that being growing up around the Gulf of America, he was raised to become the ultimate luchador, and for decades he was the face of Lucha Libre, but after being blackballed by his jealous enemies, he disappeared without a trace until tonight, where he will make his grand return back.
Look, I put in the script that I had said I had thoughts about this vignette. I don't know if you saw that, but I definitely have thoughts. It is poor taste.
I,
With everything going.
yeah,
Say again?
no, no, you were talking.
Yeah. With everything going on in this country, I love Chad Gable. I've seen some Latino folks say it's fine. And of course, it's not my place as a white man to say what I think is racist or not because, well, obviously. It felt, I'm not going to say it was racist or if it wasn't, but the presentation feels in poor taste. The Gulf of America, I will never call it that. Until the day I die, it's the Gulf of Mexico. I have swallowed salt water in that. I've been stung by a jellyfish in that. I've nearly drowned in it. It's the Gulf of Mexico. And I don't care. Also, apparently they used AI in the vignette,
That was the
which is
part I
just,
was upset about.
what are you doing? You are a multi-billion-dollar company, and you can't pay someone to like change the color to put a sepia filter on a picture and poorly Photoshop it into an old picture.
I provided a solution weeks ago how you could get past this, and that was to send Chad Gable to CMLL.
Yeah, you could have done that too. There's so many ways you could have gotten around using AI, and it's just this is another reason I say it's in poor taste. It's lazy.
It is extremely lazy, but you can also make the point that El
Whoa.
Grande Americano doesn't exist, and of course, Chad Gable and um, American Made would come up with this like crappy solution to prove, oh, he does exist. You know what I mean?
Well, no, I don't disagree with the story. I disagree with the presentation of it.
I would agree. You
There's a
can
there you can definitely make crappy photoshops in like 5 minutes. I could have done that.
it,
You give me a few photos of Chad Gable on a transparent background. I'll give you some crappy photoshops that you can put on there. You multi-billion-dollar lazy bastards. Anyway, I have strong opinions about this.
yes, I I concur as well.
Don't worry, Brendan. If we get canceled, it'll be me getting canceled.
I'll then it would be, what would the stipulation be?
One man band. Something of
If
that
you leave
nature.
the picture, I will retire the podcast.
Oh, thank you, buddy.
But
Eh,
after that vignette, we see Ray and Dragon Lee backstage and their reaction to El Grande. We also see the reaction of one Master Gable, who is seemingly sick tonight and has a doctor's note to prove it.
A doctor's note. This is what I said when I said I thought it was funny. This is the funny part. When you actually let Chad Gable do what he's doing, yeah. But when you use AI to just cut corners, let's talk about something else before I start ranting again.
Alright, Dragon Lee accepts that match, and we will get that match later tonight. Fading back to inside the ring is both the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions awaiting the Bird Lady in the ring.
Woo!
Woo!
Bam, bam, bam! Woo! Bam, bam, bam! Woo! Goodness.
But that match would end after Lyra sends Liv rolling out of the ring apron, off of the ring apron, excuse me, for trying to interfere. Raquel would attempt to hit the Tijuana bomb, for which
Tahada bomb.
Lyra, what's that?
Tahada.
Tahada bomb?
Tahada bomb, I
Oh,
think.
excuse me.
Let's see.
It was
I'm pretty sure I've heard Tahada bomb.
it was like whatever o'clock in the morning whenever I was rewatching the show, so I might have
Let's see.
overheard it
It's
differently.
it's Tahana. Tahana. It was I think it was someone else's finisher. It used to be called the Chingona bomb, but now it's the Tahana.
See,
I
I
heard
can understand
Tahada.
why I misheard it because there's a tequila bomb, and I'm like, oh, well, maybe she's from Tijuana and I don't know. And maybe,
I don't think she's from Tijuana.
I don't know, I was so tired. I think I got 4 hours of sleep that day.
Oh dear. That's not good.
But she would attempt to hit that move, of which Lyra would roll her up for the pin and get the win. Liv
And then
and
of course,
Yeah,
yeah.
Liv and Raquel would attack her after the bell, and Bailey would come out, and even the odds and the baby faces would stand out on top.
I wonder where Becky Lynch is.
She's
I
taking
do
care of a
wonder.
child.
Well, obviously she's taking care of a child, but also I kept hearing them say during the match that Bailey was Lyra's like idol. Are we sure?
A role model, you could say.
Oh, shut the hell up. All I'm saying is like, are we sure that it wasn't Becky that was her role model?
I'm sure it was Becky, but they obviously have to change this in storyline.
Ah, whatever.
They're just
Whatever
like,
they're gonna do.
yeah, Becky's really a role model, but she's not here, so here's Bailey.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess that's what happened. Um, but after that, commercials, this, that, these, and those. Then we get backstage with the twins, the Usos. Jimmy finds Jay on the staircase and he says, "Hey, what's wrong, Oos?" And I felt so damn white saying that just now. What's wrong, Oos? I'm feeling oosy.
Not feeling oosy.
Oh my god. But yeah, Jimmy's like, dude, I can see from the last couple of weeks you've been in your own head. He said you've been hitting that dive for 15 years and now everyone's laughing at you. That kill shot was there with Gunther and you slipped. And he says, if you keep going like this, you're not gonna win at Mania. And Jay stands up and he's like, I know. I know. The internet reminds me of that every week. And he says that he's 3-0 against Gunther, but he got that backwards. He says, I haven't beaten Gunther. I don't know if I can beat him. And Jimmy says, are you sure about that? And he says, where's the right hand man? Said, where is the Jay that is the right hand man? Main event Jay Uso, the one that run the Royal Rumble. Cause that one, my brother, he sure as hell can. Jay gets the handshake. Jimmy leaves down the stairwell. He sees Gunther walking, and he's like, he presses him. He says, "Me and you next week." And Gunther says, "You? Well, sure, just as long as you don't trip and fall like your brother." Jimmy's like, "Ha ha ha," and he slaps the piss out of Gunther, and Gunther smiles and laughs. He's like, "Okay, okay," and then we move on to the next segment.
Yeah, this is a long segment here, so I'm just gonna read it uninterrupted, and we can give our thoughts afterward if that's okay.
Sure.
All right, it's the segment between Rhea, Bianca, Io, and Adam Pearce in the ring, and Adam Pearce in the ring with the contract for the women's world title at WrestleMania, of which he emphasizes the participants, that being Io Sky and Bianca Belair. He talks about how last week Rhea thought she added herself to the match, but that is in fact not how it works, but he has found a solution. Rhea has a rematch that he has been trying to make official for weeks, but because of the shenanigans, he hasn't gotten to it yet. Because Bianca won the Elimination Chamber, she earned the right to call herself number one contender. Bianca has earned an opportunity, and Rhea has earned, or excuse me, Bianca has earned an opportunity, and Rhea is deserved an opportunity. Therefore, and then we hear Io's music cutting off Adam Pearce, and before he can get his thoughts out, Io says she doesn't care about contracts, whether it is Rhea or Bianca in front of her. Uh, excuse me. Yeah, sorry about that. I'm
What's going
choking
on
on
in there?
water. I'm choking on water. Take it. Take the rest.
Oh my god. Okay. Okay.
Crap.
Jesus Christ.
I'm
Okay, hang on.
dying.
Hang on, I got this. Yeah, Io's music hits. She says, I don't care about WrestleMania. Rhea doesn't care about WrestleMania. She doesn't care about who she has to go through. Things start to go into semantics as soon as all three women are in the ring together. Bianca says, "Rhea, you can get your rematch with her in 3 weeks after WrestleMania." And Io, again, feeling disrespected, is shoved aside physically. Pierce is crashing the hell out. Says, "All right, shut up. I got a solution to all of this. Next week, Rhea, you get your rematch, and the winner will face Bianca Belair at WrestleMania." And of course, another fight breaks out in the ring. Pierce leaves in like the last 2 weeks. Respectfully, that had Io and Rhea standing on top. This week, Bianca is the last woman standing in the ring. And of course, the European crowds booed her. And
Why? Why do they hate women in Europe?
I don't think it's women. I think it's black women.
I don't know. Zelina is Hispanic.
Yeah, and she got no pop at all. I think it's women. I think European crowds are just kind of racist.
I think European
Maybe.
crowds are just mostly white.
Yeah, I mean, maybe European. I don't even think it's kind of racist. I think they just are.
Yeah,
I don't get it
I
because
don't
they
know.
cheered the hell out. They cheered the hell out of Rhea.
I have
I
no
don't
clue
know.
what's going on. It's a whole problem to diagnose, and I don't have the time for it.
But either way, I think this match should main event night one.
Agreed.
If in fact, oh yeah, you didn't even put this Bianca. Oh wait, no, this they do this later in the show, don't they?
Oh yeah, they
Uh,
mention this later in the show. We're about to get to it.
okay, never mind then. We go backstage. Dom's like, "Hey Penta, you got a second?" Says, "Look, I know you're good, but you could be better. You could be the IC champ tonight if you were to join the Judgment Day." He says that, and he's like, "Just think about it." And then he
And
leaves.
after that, we have a War Raiders package, and then the New Day. They come into Adam Pearce's office demanding they get a match for the tag titles, and Pierce is already annoyed after what happened earlier and says that the New Day should have to qualify or prove themselves in some way. Bianca comes into the office next, demanding answers as to who she is facing at Mania, and Pierce answers back that she will, in fact, face the winner of next week's match, which she will be the guest referee in.
Oh, I can't wait.
Same here,
I,
man. I cannot wait.
it's I love Crash Out Adam Pierce. He's just screaming. He's like, "Shut the hell up!" He was yelling at New Day. He's like, "Oh, fine. You guys want to come in here? You want to demand a title opportunity? Okay, sure, whatever. Go earn it. You could have come in here, said that. Everybody's been asking me for opportunities. Everybody's been asking me for a title shot. I don't care. Go out there and prove yourself."
Give the man a
and
margarita or something.
give the man some weed. Give that man
RVD is backstage. He's like, "Hey Pierce, you want
a.
to loosen up?"
Hey, Adam. It looks like you need this, man. It's. You just see Adam Pierce green out the night before the Raw before WrestleMania,
The
and he's
ghost of the
just.
Iron Sheik floats down from heaven. He's like, "Need some weed, Bubba?"
Oh my god. Shiki Baba, Shika baby.
Apparently, he
Shiki
he
baby.
loved the green stuff back in the day.
Oh, I could imagine.
He got pulled over with Jim Duggan, and that was like one of the
No
big
shit.
big news stories about like breaking kayfabe. They were both smoking weed together and got
Shiki
pulled over.
baby. Oh, I love Iron Sheik.
Rest in peace, Sheik, and F the
And
Hulk Hogan.
yeah, forever F the Hulk Hogan. Oh my goodness. But then we get El Grande Americano versus Dragon Lee. And I feel this match itself does go, I think, along with the whole whoever's behind El Grande Americano is disrespecting the art of Lucha Libre, which I think is a perfect setup for Rey Fenix to come along. But we'll get to that when we get there. Uh, El Grande was set up in the Tree of Woe. Dragon Lee was on the turnbuckle going for his double stomp. Grande grabs Dragon Lee's mask, tosses him across the ring, rips his mask off, which is just like the most disrespectful thing in Lucha Libre, and hits the ankle lock where Dragon Lee had his face down covered, and he taps out and he wins by submission. But thankfully, I don't think Dragon Lee's face came out.
I was surprised
Or
that
at
Ray
least
didn't rush the ring after the results of the match.
I'm sure there's going to be something that happens on Raw coming up where they end up addressing that.
Could you imagine the heat that Chad would get if he unmasked Ray?
Yeah, I can. I definitely can.
You think that's
It would
gonna
be a little.
happen next?
Well, I mean, Ray's also had his mask ripped off like twice in the last year.
Apparently, he had to bring it up to like some authority to wear a
Yeah,
mask in
the
WWE.
yeah, this is back after he took his mask off in WCW. He had to reach out to like the Lucha Libre Board of Commissioners or something to get approval to join WWE as a masked wrestler.
And thank goodness they said yes, because I mean, if they had
Absolutely.
said no, could you imagine the amount of money WWE would lose in merchandise?
Oh, not only that, but imagine the amount of money Rey Mysterio would lose in merchandise. It'd be a lot.
Next, we have CM Punk. He's out here to address the triple threat match made official for WrestleMania, and while he may be pissed, he cannot be mad after the noise that Glasgow made for him on his way to the ring. He talks about how he needed to win the Rumble and Chamber, but it becomes more apparent that things remain the same and that he works with children.
That just why are we bringing that up again?
It
Who does
gets
this benefit?
it gets a pop, I don't know.
It's I don't know.
It's a
It
little
it's
wink
it's
wink thing, but
it's come and gone, and it just feels too cheek and tongue to bring up again. And you could say it wasn't even a reference, and I'll take that, but I just I don't know.
I don't know, but continues by saying about how Roman and Seth are taking this personally, and this week on SmackDown in London, he, Roman, and Seth will be there for a contract signing.
So Roman's actually showing up 2 weeks in a row. Who can believe it?
Unheard of.
Oh, you made me have the Logan Paul segment.
Yep. Enjoy it.
Come on, man. Logan calls out AJ and his soccer mom haircut. Very funny, ripping that from Chris Jericho. And he says, I'll see you in London next week. And backstage, Braun does his thing. He says, I feel good. Not even backstage. He was outside of the arena. He says, I feel good about my IC title match because the dogs are going to be barking in Glasgow.
Yes, and finally we have the main event, which is Braun Breaker versus Penta. At some point during the match, the Judgment Day comes out to ringside, and that title match would end in a DQ after Dom interferes. Finn surprises everyone and attacks Braun from behind, and he gives a steel chair to Dom, who uses it on Braun, and then Dom tries to get Penta to use that same chair on Braun, and that does not work, and Penta attacks Dom, and a very disappointed Finn attacks Penta, and the Judgment Day stands tall to end the show.
Yes, which is why is Carlito standing tall after that on Raw? What are we doing, guys? But after that, throughout the show, we saw that the natural disasters are going to be inducted in the Hall of Fame.
Much deserved, much deserved.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of Triple H's early years are going to be righting Vince's wrongs, especially with past talent. We get Earthquake and Typhoon, and I'm trying to find their actual names. John
John
Tenta and
Tenta and
Fred Ottman.
there you go.
Welcome to the Hall of Fame, brothers. Good to have you. So that I think so far is Lex Luger, Triple H, and the Natural Disasters.
Michelle McCool as well.
Michelle McCool. I feel awful for forgetting that. She's absolutely should be in the Hall of Fame. What the hell am I talking about? I think they're gonna add a few more before it's out. But that was Monday Night Raw. Let's go back to Florida, Orlando, Florida, for NXT. Show opens, we get Stephanie Vaquer's video package. She's the first ever women's double champion, and no one has succeeded in defending both titles long term. She has a match tonight, first with Jada Parker and Fallon Henley. Jada in the start of the show, Fallon Henley in the main event for her North American women's title rematch. Corey Graves is back tonight as well, and Javon Evans has a Heritage Cup match.
Yes.
But first, we have the Women's NXT Championship match.
Yes, Jada dominated the match early. It worries about Stephanie having to defend twice in one night. Stephanie gets momentum back with a triangle hold on the ropes, hits the feint kick, 619, and
That the hits the move that she hit the move that Booker loves. I don't know what the hell I was saying here.
but Jada has got to be in a match for.
Oh, the face buster that Booker loves. The one where she wraps her thighs around the girl's head, slams her into the mat.
And what's this next line that you wrote here too?
Uh, which one?
The one after the facebuster comment.
Oh, there you go.
All right, sorry about that, folks.
No, I was typing this on my phone and I was very tired.
I did the same thing with the Roman Seth Punk segment.
Oh goodness.
But Jada has got to be in a match for the title at Stand and Deliver. Jordan Grace comes out mid-match and distracts Jada. Jada goes for Hypnotic. Stephanie rolls her up in such a freaking smooth way and gets the win to retain. Fatal Influences jumps her after the match, trying to wreck her before Fallon's title match.
Yeah, that roll up, I really thought it was so smooth because she like rolled through, grabbed her legs, hooked her to the side, so it'd be hard for her to like kick out of it. And then that smirk she hit was like, oh, that melted my knees. I said it before how I view Stephanie Vaquer. I tweeted this out. I said I don't think it's a stretch to think she wow, holy crap, what was that? I don't think it's a stretch to say that Stephanie Vaquer is the best ring worker in the company.
Yeah, I don't think that's a stretch either.
I mean, she's only 31, which is crazy young for such a successful wrestler already. But she's going to be incredible in NXT and once she makes the move up, inevitably. But speaking of young guys, we go backstage. Javon Evans doesn't like that Trick pushed him to the side last week. Javon says, you've been more focused on Oba for the last 4 months, and you still haven't dropped him like I did last week when he hit the cutter. He says he's going to prove Trick wrong by becoming a champion tonight. And Javon says, thought we were cool, but this has changed the beat. Trick says, this is championship stuff, man. You wouldn't understand. Javon says, after tonight, I will. And Brendan, this worked out perfectly for you. Because next up, what do we got?
We got the Ricky Saints interview. Ricky is questioned by who is the guy interviewing him?
Vic Joseph,
Vic Joseph, but he's being interviewed by
play-by-play
Vic
guy.
Joseph, and he's being asked about some people in the locker room saying that he doesn't belong, and Ricky says it's funny because those in the locker room had a head start, but he waited till he got here to step up, and when he first got into wrestling, he slept in his car, and all he had was his confidence, and that's why he's here today.
You were eating that promo up, weren't you?
I was. I had to take a second.
You had to do the Martin Scorsese thing. Cinema.
Love it.
You were thriving.
Ricky says he wears scars and battle wounds with pride, and then at that moment, Sean Spears interrupts him and says he's just gonna sit down and conduct the rest of this interview from Vic Joseph. Sean asks Ricky why he didn't think to ask him about being in the culling, and Ricky says that it's because he would have said no. Sean says that everywhere Ricky goes, his overconfidence is a plague, and that he leaves a line of anywhere enemies everywhere he goes. Pokes fun at
Yeah,
AEW. That's saying the company name. Um,
I like what they're doing with Sean.
I do too.
Like where I wrote this down, I kind of just wrote this in the script now because I meant to write this earlier. But he says something to the effect of, "Why don't once you lose here, why don't you go back to? Oh wait, we know you burned your bridges there."
Yeah.
And that's yeah. I don't know. What are we doing here? Can we stop being tribalish? It's it's childish.
I don't know. I feel like it's enough to get a soft chuckle out of me, but it doesn't move needles.
Whatever. But yeah, Ricky says he's taking the title off Sean. Sean says, "Don't add me to that list of enemies." And baby, I know you're locked in this Tuesday.
Win it, Ricky. Win it.
We go to the locker room. Ethan Page and Andre Chase are both sitting in their lockers, looking so depressed, and it's so funny. We got Tyson, Tyreek, and Wesley judging Ricky Saints. Kale Dixon looks at Ethan Page and says, oh, "This is after Tyson, Tyreek, and Wes have gone." Kale Dixon says that, "Hey, Ethan, seeing Ricky do what you did must suck for you." Ethan says you're gonna get slapped around again, and Andre says something. He steps up to defend Kale and Uriah, challenges Ethan, likely to a match tonight.
Yes, we have Hank and Tank versus Tyson and Tyreek next. The Motor City Machine Guns are backstage to see them off for their match. Hank and Tank said they were one mind intertwined. Hank and Tank are very athletic, but Tyson and Tyreek have a lot of promise.
I'm
Um,
I'm still I'm still unsure which one's Hank and which one's Tank.
well, obviously the one that says Hank on their clothing, but it's very hard to like featurely tell them apart.
Right. When they're moving, they don't even look similar. That's the thing. It's kind of the same for Tyson and Tyreek. I'm just bad with names.
I mean, we got a pair of twins separated from each other who had been working for 10 years together, so hopefully in 10 years we can knock this down.
Hopefully, well, no, it's not even that they don't even look the same like the Usos do. These guys, I don't think are brothers.
Oh, yeah, they're not brothers, but
Let's see, Hank and Tank, Hank Walker, Tank Ledger. I don't even think they're related. If I'm being completely honest with you, they might be. I don't know.
could be an edgy
Either way,
Christian thing.
I just can't tell. I don't know. But yeah, Wesley distracts the official. Tyson, I think, knocked Hank off the top rope, and I think this is a good nickname. TNT gets the win.
That
Tyson and
that is
Tyreek.
a pretty good tag team name. I'm surprised it hasn't been used before.
Might have been. Who knows? But then we go backstage. Steph is getting her ribs looked at after she got jumped. Ava's back there like, "Stephanie, are you sure you want to defend?" Steph's like, "I'm the double champ. I'm living up to the titles and in my home country. I'm La Primera. I got this." And gentlemen, after that, Fraxium, gentlemen, might not be fine.
Yeah, they had a series of Twitter arguments following the match Axiom had with Gunther in Spain on Smackdown. They talked.
España. I wrote it as España.
I'm
Say
sorry.
España.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. My Cajun ass can't say that. You know that.
España.
But they're talking about their disagreements and their miscommunications. They're arguing. Obafemi enters the arena in the middle of the interview, and Fraxium left mid-interview, and then we have our next match.
Yes, and I finally get to do an NXT match today. The Heritage Cup Championship between Javon Evans and Lexis King. And remember, since King got the title, they changed the rules. So it's no longer the normal Heritage Cup rules. It is one fall, that's all.
It's King Line
It's
rules.
it's what rules?
King Line rules.
Oh my god. Um yeah, Lexus was playing on Javon's young anger the whole match. I think Lexus King is improving all around. He just needs to polish it up. Put the whole package together. Javon, on the other hand, is freaking nuts. How old is he? He's 20. He turns 21 in like a month. That's ridiculous. And this kid is going to be him someday. And this is a bit of a hot take. I think he's going to be this new generation's Jeff Hardy.
Don't tell AEW Darby Allin fans that.
Darby Allin could be the next Jeff Hardy. I'm not going to discredit that. He's crazy. I
As
just
long as he
don't know.
doesn't kill himself before
That's
then.
what I was going to say. As long as he like doesn't break his spine. He needs a different finisher. The coffin drop is fun, but when you drop yourself right onto the edge of the ring apron, it's not as fun. It's ouch. Uh yeah. I think I wrote this down after Javon like flew over the top rope over the announce desk. Did you see that?
I did see that.
Yeah, how do you overshoot the announce desk? That's crazy.
It was crazy.
That boy is bouncy. King was going after Javon's jaw all match. Then Javon hit the corkscrew off the ropes. Lexus rolled out of the ring. Javon took fucking flight on a dive towards the ramp. Then Javon throws Lexus back into the ring. Oba shows up, hits a fall from grace power bomb onto the apron to screw Javon out of the Heritage Cup. And the new rules, Lexus King retains on a countout. But then the lights go dark, and the dark state is here. Javon is fighting back against Oba, but Trick is here. He goes for a trick shot on Oba, but he ends up wiping out Javon. But during all this, Dark State is watching and clapping. And they've said nobody is safe. Why haven't they gone after Trick?
That's a good
Hmm,
question. Did you come up with that theory yourself, or did you see this online?
I saw it online. I'm not going to take credit for things that aren't mine. I'm not a plagiarist.
Next we have Chemical X versus the Meta Girls. Tatum and Gigi have a match on Thursday versus TNA. Soul and Zarya are watching at ringside, and if there was ever a time to bring back the NXT Women's Tag Titles, it is now. Chikara accidentally knocked Lash's blood clean
Block.
off. What's
I
that?
meant to say block. I meant to say block.
Oh, excuse us, ladies and gentlemen.
Knocked her block off.
Tatum and Gigi get the win off of their finisher. Symmetry,
Cemetery.
Cemetery Drive. Soul and Zarya uh, stare down the Meta Girls.
Mm-hmm. And this is what I mean with the NXT women's tag titles. Because you could have a really good program between the Meta Girls, you could have Soul and Zarya, you could have Tatum and Gigi, or Tatum and Shotzi, or Gigi and Shotzi. There's so much talent in the women's division that you can get going here to just have one tag title
Do you think
set.
they're gonna introduce the tag titles at Stand and Deliver?
I doubt it. I think they should.
It
I don't think they
seems
should
like they're kind of leading us down that road, right?
I don't know if they should reintroduce them at Stand and Deliver, but they should definitely reintroduce them this year. I think having one set of tag titles among all the women is just a whole nother issue that compounds onto the already skeptical people about how WWE treats women. But, whatever. We go to another segment. We get Tony's name. We go to the family. Tony D'Angelo's nameless goons behind him are like, "Hey, the streets are talking." Tony says he'll handle it, and the family walks in. Lucas says, "How you feeling, boss?" He shuts that shit down. He demands information on the Dark State after they beat his ass last week. And then Rizzo and Crucifino, Luca, leave, but Tony says, "Stacks, stick around, buddy." He sends the goons out. Tony looks at Stacks. He says, "You good, man?" And Stacks says, "Yeah, everything's all right besides Dark State." Tony says, "I believe you. I trust you." He says, "Can I trust you?" Stacks puts his hand on Tony's back and says, "Yeah, Don, you can trust me." And Tony, the little musical stinger, is making me wonder if Tony's suspicious of Stacks' motives. But what do I know?
Yeah, I, I would I would think so as well.
It's definitely interesting, to say the least.
Next, we have the Motor City Machine Guns and Hank and Tank. The Machine Guns are giving Hank and Tank some advice, and to remember that the process is different for every tag team and that there's levels to this. You got to trust your partner and don't compare yourself to your tag partner. Don't
Us.
give my bad, excuse me. Don't
Yeah,
give up.
that's my bad again.
And Hank and Tank says they'll see them down the line.
Yep. After that, we get Ethan Page versus Andre Chase. During Ethan's entrance, Ricky walks in and sits at the commentary desk. I bet you were having a ball, Brendan.
I loved it.
Yeah. I don't think Andre's shaved or gotten a haircut since Chase U ended. Yeah, he looks so dilapidated and depressed. Andre can still go in the ring. He that has never been the problem. He was going for the Chase U stomp again, but he gets disheartened. But with the encouragement from the crowd, he actually goes for it. Give me a C, give me an H, and he gets to A before Ethan interrupts him, grabbing his foot. He gets planted with a Uranagi. Chase has some fight in him with the encouragement of Uriah Connors and Cale Dixon. Uh, Andre was going for I think it was a Canadian Destroyer, one of those bouncers off the top rope like Adam Cole used to do. But Ethan wins off the twisted grin. But Ricky goes to meet him. How about that?
Love it.
Anything Ricky does, you'll be all over.
For real. He could take a crap in the ring and I'll give it 5 stars.
Okay. All right.
Next, we have the Dark State Twitter video, which we see on NXT Broadcasting. Um, says that they didn't even need to do anything to spike the anxiety in the room, and that nobody is safe. And you put except Trick and Javon, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't attacked Javon to my knowledge. They've showed up with him, but they haven't attacked him. They haven't attacked Trick at all. But yeah, you take this next one.
Trick is in the parking lot. He's being asked questions and says that Javon was collateral damage. Scratch that distraction from what he wants. That everyone is distracted from the fact that he's the man. Trick challenges him to a match next week and answers.
Oba. He challenges Oba to a match.
Oh, he
I don't know
challenges
why I
Oba
didn't
to
write
a
that.
match next week and answers a question about Dark State. It says it's not his business.
Hmm. And you can read this next line too. Just this next line, though.
Ricky v. Sean Spears next week for the NXT North American Championship.
That's how you really feel.
I can't describe it in words, but
It's that funny tingle in your balls.
yeah,
But in the main event after this, we get Stephanie's second match of the night versus Fallon Henley. I love Fatal Influence's theme. What do you think?
I love the theme too. It's one of like probably one of the better NXT women's themes out there.
Yeah. This is Stephanie's second match tonight. Odds are not in her favor, but Fallon and Fatal Influence are playing a numbers game with the distractions, and Fallon was attacking Stephanie's ribs. And I'm wondering, while watching this match, where is Julia? She must be hurt because we haven't heard from her since MSG.
I would think so too.
Um, let's see. Next up, Fallon was just stomping away at Stephanie's ribs. Steph tried to roll up for the win just like she did against Jada, but Stephanie gets thrown out of the ring. She kicks JC Jane in the face, but she got by Jasmine Nix with the Nix kick. But the interference wasn't enough. Steph kicked out. And one thing leads to another. Steph pushes Fallon into the ropes, which knocks Nix down, and Stephanie hits the SVB to retain her other title. And I said this earlier, she genuinely might be the best wrestler in the company, like purely in ring. Maybe it's a stretch, but Jesus, she's so good. Fatal Influence jumped her afterwards. Out comes Jordan Grace to save the day, but she immediately cleans house with Fatal Influence. Jordan was not letting go of the title as she handed him back. She gave her the North American title just fine, but the NXT Women's title, she wasn't giving her that just easy. But Jada was out there to get the jump on Jordan, and Stephanie's just holding her ribs like, what the hell is happening? But we could get a triple threat at Stand and Deliver.
I love what they're doing here with the women in the main event.
Honestly, give me a 10-woman match and it would be a banger.
Honestly, like this roster's stacked. It's got depth
Yeah,
to it.
there are so many women that could be in both title pictures right now, which is another reason I was kind of disheartened they were going the way of putting both titles on someone. But you know what? It's Stephanie Vicaire, so I'm not going to complain.
And last but not least, we have Ava backstage, and every woman in the division is arguing about why they should get a title shot, and Ava's trying to figure it out, silently screaming. And the show cuts back to Steph and Jordan and Jada before it goes off air.
Yes, and that was NXT on 3/25/2025. Before we close out, we got some extra notes. I saw this on Twitter today. Since Lillian Garcia's full-time ring announcing career is done, the new SmackDown ring announcer is Mark Schunock. He has hosted and announced Top Rank Boxing on ESPN. He is the VP of Entertainment and in-arena host for the Vegas Golden Knights and the Las Vegas Raiders.
I love the hire. I think WWE fans will grow to love him. I've heard good things from Golden Knights fans.
Yeah, I haven't looked into it too much, but I'm confident that it's going to be good.
All right, you want to take us off?
I guess so, since I introed us. Um, Ladies, gentlemen, non-binary friends, thank you for tuning in to this episode of No Stipulations. As always, I'm Logan. That's Brendan. Thanks for watching. We're on the road to WrestleMania, and we look forward to seeing you next week.